Chum Kiu, our second form, so I'm going to go through it once and then I'll go through it again explaining about the details of each of the movements. So the first thing we do after opening our stance is measure off our center, our cross guard, cover our center line, and then draw back. I punch with our left hand into the center, opens, circles, and draws back. Same with the other side. And now we're going to bring both our arms forward, keep our elbows down so they're not up. And first we're going to pivot on the heels of our feet to the left with our left arm ending up on top into land sao. So we do double land sao, pivoting on the heels of our foot. And we do 3 of these, so that'll be 1, 2, 3. Then we drop our elbows down, keep our palms facing down to the ground, rotate to tan sao, and then we're going to do 3 tok saos. 1, and when we do this motion, think of in this case, the left arm going forward slightly and the right hand coming back slightly, like you're pushing forward and pulling back. So we're not coming up, but we're pushing forward and back, as well as slightly coming up and slightly coming down. So we do 3 of these. We go 1, 2, 3, and then 3 palm strikes. From this rear hand here, it comes straight into our palm. 1, replace the wu sao. 2, 3. On the third one, left hand comes back. Then we pivot on the heels of our feet all the way to the other side, and this right hand becomes land sao. And then from there, our left hand is going to do a tan sao, comes out to our land sao, and the land sao is now going to turn into a bong sao and left hand wu sao when we pivot with our feet again. Then we pull back to the position we were in, and we do 3 of these. Then the land sao hand is going to fold out, so it just folds forward. We grab, pull this hand back and do a left punch. Pivot off right foot, back in. Foot sao out to our side. Bring our hand back to the center. Replace, circle, and back. Now we just do the same thing going to the right. So we're going to bring our elbows forward, down, keeping them low. Then we're going to pivot to our right. Right hand is going to end up on top. Double land sao, 1, 2, 3. Our hands are going to fold out to dip sao, rotate to tan sao, and then we're going to do 3 times tok sao again. 1, 2, 3. 3 palms again. 1, 2, 3. Rotate all the way to the other side on the heels of our feet. Back to land sao. Tan sao is going to come out again. Then we pivot, bong sao and wu sao. 1, then back. 2, back. 3, back. Hand folds out. We grab, replace with a punch. Then we're going to turn our foot back in, back to basic stance, foot sao out to our right side, circle back into the center, or bring our arm back in. You can do it with a slight circular motion to sink down, and then replace, circle and pull back. And that is the first part of your second form Chum Kiu. So the difference from that and the first form is we're now learning to pivot our body and use the pivots to support whatever structures we're putting out. So in the first form, we're learning to be square on, and we're learning to take the lines of attack, and we're learning about all the different lines of attack. And in the second form, we're now learning to turn our whole body and use our whole body to generate power and force. So I'm going to go through the second part now, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. So I'm going to pretend that I'm carrying on from the first part, so I'm not going to measure off again. I'm just going to go straight into it. And there we have it. It's quite short actually. So, in this one, the first thing we're going to do after we've opened up our stance, we're going to pivot to our left. This time our fists close, unlike our land sao when we're doing it in the first part, our fists close now. And we do a lifting kick with our front leg. So we're just lifting straight up. So if you imagine someone coming forward, and you're just lifting your legs straight up to create a barrier. But when we drop it, we go into our arrow walk, bong sao and wu sao. And then we're going straight into our diagonal cross, but now it's on we're slightly off at an angle when we do it. And then we arrow walk, bong and wu sao again. And then we go to our cross arms again. One more time, 3 times, bong and wu sao. And this time that bong sao comes in. So it's a bit like a hammer fist, but it comes in and upwards slightly. So it would look like this. So from this motion, it'll be coming in, warm, and your hand comes back. So there's different ways of doing it. I think some people do it like a hammer fist like this, but I was taught to do it like this. Where it comes down and in, you can use it like an uppercut. It's really powerful, and you can use it for other things as well, but it's a really powerful way of doing it. It spirals in and up. So once we've done that, we pivot our feet back in, and we go to wu sao, replace, circle, pull back, and then we do the other side. We turn, drop our weight to the ground, pinning kick, bong sao, wu sao, cross guard, back to the center, replace, comes back. Now we'll do the third part, so I'll go through it one time. So you do need a little bit of space for the second and third part of the form, not a lot though. But to start off, we pivot to our left, we do a stamp kick with our front leg, and then we come down into our bong sao. 2 low bong saos, then that rotates to tan sao, and then we arrow walk again, and we do 2 low bong saos as we're arrow walking. And back to tan sao. Then we do a third one, back to tan sao, And then we're going to do two lower palms and then to high, but what we do is as we're rotating our hands inwards, so from my tan sao position, you're rotating your hands inwards to do the palms. From this position, we rotate in, then our rear foot's going to catch up, right up to our other foot, next to each other, push down, back, and then high, then it folds in, and you pull back. So from the high one, you're going to fold your hands inwards and pull back. Pull your hands back, then from there we step our right foot back, pivot all the way around, boom. So from there we're going right foot back, pivot all the way around, then front leg, stamp kick again. Then we come down, low bong saos. 1, rotates to tan sao. 2, tan sao. 3, tan sao. Now from here, we're going to fold in again, do the low palm, come back, high palm, rotate your hands, bring them back. Then we do our kick out at an angle, so it comes outwards. From here, we kick out. So when we do this motion, we then go into bringing our feet off on the diagonal, like we were doing earlier in our form. So that kick ends up then pointing on the diagonal. When you're kicking with your left, you'll be pointing your feet slightly off to the right. So from here we look, kick, down to the diagonal, and then we do a left gong sao, right wu sao, and we replace 2, pivoting, 3, and then this punch whips up, and we square, and then we put our feet back into our square stance, so our toes are pointing in. 1, 2, 3, opens, circles, pulls back, left foot to right, and push down.